My name is Allison and welcome to my channel. I make cleaning and lifestyle videos at least twice a week, so if you like that type of content, please subscribe down below. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a story time video about the time that I was lured to a hotel room. I do want to just start this by saying that this is not a sex trafficking story, so if you're triggered by that, don't worry, that's not what this is about. I may mention it a little bit just because it's relevant, but that's not the outcome of this story. I think you are going to be a little surprised about how this happened, what happened, and how it ended, because it's kind of an odd situation. I wanted to include the story in my videos because I think it's a good lesson for people. I think it's good to be aware, and part of the reason that the whole situation happened because I was in a financially struggling, and I was desperate, and that's never a good place to be making decisions in life. So I want this to be more of like a lesson story to people if they're listening. But to start the story, this happened a long time ago. I was actually 19 when this happened, and at the time I had moved across the country. At the time I thought I was going to be able to transfer the companies I was working with to a company in another state. So the story happened when I was 19, and I at the time thought I was going to be able to transfer the companies I was working with. I thought they were going to let me transfer to a location in another state. And at the last minute, the transfer fell through, and I was unable to transfer, but the move was already planned, and I just figured, well, I'll just get another job when I get down there. And I moved across state, and I moved to another state, and when I got down there, I actually discovered that I just couldn't find a job. I was in an area where there was a very tight job market. There were just not a lot of things available. I spent several months applying for jobs, looking for jobs. At that time, I had never had any trouble finding jobs. I had worked pretty much my entire teenage years at various places, and I never had any issues. And, I wasn't looking for like a high-paying job. I was just looking for something to get by on, but there really was nothing in the area where we lived. It was a very country area. There just weren't a lot of businesses in that area. And there were jobs if I could commute, but I didn't have the money for the gas to commute, an hour away every day. So I really struggled to find a job. And at some point I found an ad in the paper, because this was back a long time ago. Back then all the job ads were in the paper, and there was a job ad for a job as a receptionist at a hotel room, and I applied for it, and they called me, and I was really excited because I had not had any luck with anything. So they called me in to do an interview for this job as a receptionist, and on the phone they said, this will be a job, answering phones and, greeting customers as they check in. And I thought, that sounds normal. Everything on the ad looked normal. It looked like a regular job. It was just a small hotel. It wasn't like a chain place or anything. But I didn't have any experience working with hotels in the past, so it was going to be something just completely out of the blue for me. It was just something new that I was going to be trying on my mind. And I was really excited, so I just said, okay, and we set up a time for a job interview. And I went to the hotel that I was going to be, I thought I was going to be working for. And when we were talking on the phone, they gave me the information, but they told me I should, when I get there, go to a specific hotel room, which I thought was really strange, but I had never worked for a hotel, so I just thought, oh, must just be how hotels, small hotels do it. Maybe they don't have an office. Maybe all the business is just run out of a specific room, and that's where their office is set up. I really had no idea, and I was clueless. And back then, people really didn't have any awareness of sex trafficking or that aspect, so that thought never even crossed my mind. I wouldn't have known that even happened. So just a disclaimer, it's never a good idea to go to a hotel room unless you know people you're with or people that are there. Don't ever do that. It's very dangerous. But I didn't know. I was very young and inexperienced. So I put on my interview clothes and I got ready for the interview and tried to look nice, and I was really excited because I thought this was finally my opportunity to get a job in this area. And I went to the little hotel room, and I knocked on the door. I was nervous because it's an interview, and everybody's nervous at a job interview. And a lady opens the door, and I kind of see into the room, and it's not what I was expecting at all. When I look into the room, it's not like a hotel room with a bed or a nightstand. It's actually all the furniture has been cleared out of the hotel room, and there are tiny little desks scattered through the space where the bedroom would normally be in this room. And there were probably 5 to 10 people sitting at these desks with phones working on something. And the lady waved me in, and she had me fill out some sort of clipboard where I just wrote my name and my phone number or something. And she sat me down and she handed me some paperwork, and she says, here's this script that you need to read. She's like, here's a list of phone numbers. Call these phone numbers and just read this information. And at this point, I'm still not even really understanding what's happening. I'm still trying to process everything because the room is so strange. And the whole time I'm thinking I'm supposed to be interviewing for a receptionist job. Now at this point, I've figured out that's not what actually is happening, but I haven't figured out what's actually happening at this point. So I'm still kind of looking around, trying to figure out what is going on. I sit down at the little desk just because I'm so overwhelmed, and I start reading through the paperwork and the phone numbers, and I realize that what they're actually doing is telemarketing. They're just calling numbers and selling these coupon books, was what they were selling. And so I sit there and I'm reading through the coupon book, and it's just things like, 50 cents off of a Wendy's meal, or just a normal coupon book. And so I'm like looking through the script, and on the script that they have people reading, it says, the script is telling people that they're going to get like a free vacation if they buy this coupon book. I think it's like a free cruise. Tell them that they're getting, I don't know, some sort of really expensive coupon, a $50 off coupon, or stuff that's just not in this coupon book at all. It's completely different than what's actually in the coupon book, is what they're telling people are in the thing. And I realize this, and I'm not even sure what to do at this point. I kind of pick up the phone. I think maybe I even called someone and then hung up because I didn't even know what to do. I was so confused. I was very young and confused, and I had no idea what was happening. So I sit there for a minute trying to figure out what to do about the situation, because I don't know how to get out of it. I'm just here sitting at this desk thinking I had a job, and I'm heartbroken too because I really wanted an actual real job and not a scam telemarketing job. So I finally, just after reading through it and it clicking in my head what was actually going on, I just stood up and I told the lady, hey, I can't do this, and I walked out and handed her her paperwork back, and I left. And I was crushed and devastated. I was very upset, and I never went to the police or the hotel room. Looking back, I should have at least reported them to the hotel to let the hotel know that they were there, because I'm pretty certain that hotel had no idea that's what was happening in that little hotel bedroom. I think back then, the internet wasn't like it is now. It was a long time ago. So I think that they were hooking up to the hotel's phone lines and then just splitting them off and using their phone service. And I think that's why they were doing it in a hotel room also, so that they wouldn't be able to be tracked. And then they could mail out these phony coupon books, and then people would get scammed out of, the money that they thought they were getting something totally different. And now I look back, and it was really a good lesson to be careful about where I'm going. In retrospect, anyone could have been behind that hotel door. I could have been kidnapped or injured. I was pretty much a teenager at that point. I don't know what would have happened to me in a different situation. And you really need to be cautious, and you need to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a bad situation just because you're in a bad financial situation. As a person is worth more than any amount of money, and you need to take care of yourself. You need to keep yourself safe. Even if that means you have to struggle a little bit financially, you're much more important than any money. So keep that in mind. And I know this was a little bit heavier than what I usually do on my channel, but I thought it was a good lesson for people, so I thought it was good to share it with others. I hope you found this sort of interesting or informative. If you have any stories like this, let me know down below in the comments. I'd like to hear if you've had anything like this happen to you. And thank you so much for coming by, and I hope you all have a beautiful day today. Bye!